One of the strongest ideas in this Arcturian transmission is also one of the most difficult to understand. Humanity may be moving through the same planetary transition without everyone arriving at the same destination. The Arcturians describe Earth as entering a higher vibrational range, while human beings continue to respond according to their own state of consciousness. In their view, ascension is already happening through a gradual separation of experience. What stood out to me here is that they do not describe this separation as a judgment. They describe it as resonance. The way I understand this, every person is becoming more deeply connected to the reality that matches the condition of their inner world. Someone whose consciousness remains organized around fear and control will continue to experience a reality where those forces remain dominant. Someone developing greater inner coherence begins to experience a different relationship with the same world. At first, both people may still live in the same city, follow the same news, and move through many of the same external events. Their experience of reality can still become radically different. This part changes how I see the message, because the separation may begin long before any visible dimensional shift. It can begin through perception, through emotional response, and through the kind of future a person is capable of imagining. The Arcturians seem to be describing two pathways that slowly lose their compatibility. One pathway continues the lessons of density. Consciousness remains focused on separation, external authority, and conflict. The other pathway moves toward inner sovereignty and a more unified state of awareness. According to the transmission, souls who cannot yet sustain the new frequency are not punished or abandoned. Their development continues within another environment that corresponds to their present level of resonance. That may sound severe when heard through the human fear of loss. Within the logic of the message, it represents continuity. Every soul remains inside its own evolutionary process. The deeper point, in my view, is that ascension is not something a person receives simply because they were present during a planetary event. It depends on what their consciousness has become capable of holding. The transmission repeatedly returns to inner coherence because coherence determines how a person moves through the transition. When old structures weaken, the individual can no longer depend entirely on external systems for stability. Their orientation has to come from within. This may explain why the Arcturians place so much importance on attention. Attention is presented as the energy that strengthens a particular line of reality. When someone constantly feeds fear, their perception becomes organized around threat. They begin making decisions from that state, and those decisions reinforce the same world around them. When someone becomes more internally stable, they begin noticing different possibilities. Their choices change, and their experience gradually shifts with them. This does not mean ignoring what is happening on Earth. It means understanding that consciousness participates in the reality it perceives. The Arcturians also connect this process to the instability many people currently feel. As the frequency changes, parts of life built upon an older state of consciousness can lose their structure. A relationship may no longer feel aligned. A familiar direction may suddenly become empty. The message interprets this as a sign that the person's inner trajectory is changing. What matters here is the reason behind the disruption. The Arcturians are saying that a new reality cannot fully form while every part of the old identity remains untouched. The transition reaches into the structures people use to define themselves. This is also why different people may respond to the same period in opposite ways. One person feels called to simplify and become more conscious. Another holds more tightly to the world they already know. Neither response is hidden. Each one reveals the pathway that person is currently strengthening. The transmission also gives a specific role to those who feel aligned with the ascending current. Their purpose is not to convince everyone around them. Their purpose is to stabilize their own field. I think this is one of the most grounded parts of the message. It removes the pressure to awaken other people through argument. Consciousness cannot be forced into a frequency it is not ready to sustain. The most powerful influence comes through embodiment. A stable person changes the emotional atmosphere around them because they stop adding more disorder to it. The Arcturians describe these people as anchors within the collective field. Their calm creates a point of coherence while the surrounding world moves through uncertainty. This also changes the meaning of service. Service may involve protecting the clarity of your own consciousness so that a different human pattern can remain available within the collective. As the two pathways become more distinct, the transmission suggests that differences between people may become harder to ignore. This could happen even within families or close relationships. The Arcturian response is clear. Honor the path another soul has chosen and maintain your own alignment. That may be one of the hardest parts of ascension. The transition can require releasing the belief that everyone we love must evolve in the same direction at the same moment. The central insight I take from this transmission is that ascension is a process of compatibility. The new earth becomes accessible through the state of consciousness a person develops and sustains. The separation begins within. It becomes visible through the realities people continue to build around themselves. The full original Arcturian transmission is available on Patreon through the link in the description. Thank you for listening to this message. If you feel the need to stabilize your field and establish clear protection during this phase of acceleration, the Arcturian Light Shield activation is available in the description. It includes the guide, the symbols, and the Arcturian mantra in light language. You will now hear a short excerpt of the mantra so you can feel its frequency. See you very soon.
Om Toria Shanuval Krita Mena Ishareno Kalim Tora Eshun Vail Shena Toria Toria Shanuval Krita Mena Ishareno Kalim Tora Eshun Vail Shena